Hey, welcome to another Copy AI live demo. My name's Andrew Lane. Today we've got a special guest. It's going to show us how to get millions of blog views every month without backlinks. We've got Bojan Maric. How'd I do?
Oh, hey, yeah. Hey, man. Did it.
What's up? Got your name all right? I'm working on it.
It's perfect. I would have gone with Maric as well.
Pistol Pete Maric.
Yeah. Bojan. Thank you, man.
Bojan, what's up? So one of the big questions we've been getting from the Copy AI community is, hey, we're all writing content. We're trying to get more content out there to attract customers. And, Copy AI solves the content creation part of it, makes it way faster to write lots of content to attract customers. But how do you get that to rank? How do you start to get people to actually read your blogs and turn that into cash? So you have a lot of experience doing that. Maybe give us a quick breakdown of, what we're going to cover today.
Absolutely, would love to. And I think it's exactly going to be what you said. We're going to be talking about, scaling. So everything you said makes perfect sense. And I want to talk about how we scaled. I want to share our own playbook with everybody watching, and not only share it, but show them how they can use that to their own advantage. With just starting with just one writer or just yourself. So let me quickly share my screen. People jump in with questions. Please feel free to interrupt me. Let's see.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, welcome everyone. If you can go ahead and just drop a comment below. We've got a global audience showing up today. I'm located in Austin, Texas. And where are you at, Bojan?
I'm in Belgrade, Serbia, Central
Belgrade,
Europe.
Serbia.
Hey, guys.
Welcome. We got France in the house. Thanks for joining. And if you can, also let us know what kind of content you're writing. What are you working on right now? Are you blogging? Are you looking to build your content team? Are you a freelance writer? Let us know what you're up to and where you're watching from.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear from niche site builders. We're talking to these guys a lot, and if you come from in-house, hey, Sebastian, nice.
Yep, look at this, all over. I love it. South Carolina, sunny Florida, Sweden.
Oh, nice.
Another Texan here. This is awesome. Got a blogger in the house.
Love it.
Ooh, a sleep apnea dentist blog. That's very niche down. Sweet. All right, I'm going to pull up your screen and we can dive into some content. What we're also going to do is keep an eye on the comments. So if you have any questions throughout, I'll be monitoring that, and we'll keep this kind of a dialogue as we go through the core content today.
Please, just I tend to drone on. Just head on and interrupt me. And I tend to go super fast. So yeah, hoping Andrew, you're gonna kind of help me drive this. All right, let me see if I can make this a full screen. All right, there we go. So hey everyone, thanks for joining. My name is Bojan. And I'm a co-founder at Workello.com. We're going to talk about Workello later on if anybody's interested. But today I want to talk about how everyone can publish more than 100 pages of quality content per month. We did it multiple times. I'm going to share that with you. But one of the most notable times is when we grew a website to 0 to 1.5 million organics per month. And just a little bit about me and my team. We scaled from 1 to 45 writers and editors within a period of 18 months. And in 2021, we published 8,000 pages of content. That drove 200,000 page one keywords on Google and 15 million organic visitors. And we did that without building any new backlinks. We did that with just great content. And I'm going to talk about a lot what great content is. And here is kind of the first sign of good content. For us, it's content that not only ranks and attracts traffic, it's content that drives conversions. And our biggest case study, we helped this robot lawyer do not pay app grew to 1.5 million organics per month. They're still growing, but that turned into 100 million monthly active users. And we helped get that startup value to $210 million backed from Andreessen Horowitz. That's why we believe that the best SEO campaigns are content driven. We noticed something. These are our first 4 projects. And this is not a lucky number 13. This is just something we expect for every project right now. It doesn't matter if it's in a B2B space or different kind of niches. We've seen that after a year of publishing quality content at scale, you can reach 100,000 visitors. And these numbers are kind of Ahrefs numbers, so they are bigger in reality. I want to do something also really quickly. We continue to do that same thing. We're currently working on 3 more projects heading in the same direction in a much shorter period of time. And they also belong to different niches. I'm happy to say that we're kickoffing a couple of more projects this September, and we don't expect any other type of results. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Had some newer data to share as well. So what does that mean? Well, it means that more content equals more traffic. It makes sense, of course, but we've seen, looking at some of the most ambitious SEO campaigns out there, that 4 or even more out of these 6 or out of these 7 campaigns that you see on screen, more than have this band between like 50 and 200 visitors per page of content per month. And unless you're NerdWallet or Wirecutter, we've seen that that's basically a range that you can expect per page. We call that page efficiency. And when you think about it, if you look at Do Not Pay, and how many months it took them to reach similar here, 1.5. Look at the right side of this table. That is how many months you would need to catch up with someone. If you want to do 12,000 pages and you'll be as efficient as HubSpot, you're going to need a lot of months to catch up. So the answer is publishing more content. Again, not everyone's NerdWallet and Wirecutter, and the reason is they have 131 writers on their team, at least that's what LinkedIn indicates. Who knows? It could be more. And we've seen this hold true with almost any kind of a niche. Here is an example of a pet niche place where we also had a successful project. If you look at the row 11 here, Dogipedia, that's our website. We grew it from 0 to 100K within those 13 months. And we did that with only 200 pages. Look at the comparison with other websites in the space, and then look at the efficiency of traffic per page per month. So if you're smart about what type of content you're publishing and you do it at scale as fast as possible, and we did with Dogipedia 200 pages within 6 months, there's no reason not to expect to hit that lovely 100K goal by the end of month 12. And when you think about it, it actually makes sense. I think we all have our opinions on what we think when we listen to those roundtables from Google, but this one hit hard with me. In 2022, it's really hard to call a website authoritative with 30 articles live. Everyone can publish 30 articles, and how can Google recognize who you are if that's where you stop? And when you think about it, it really, really makes sense. But here's some good news. You don't need to be NerdWallet to meet your financial goals. You can turn SEO in your #1 acquisition channel with hundreds of pages of content. And I hear you saying, hundreds of pages of content really sounds a lot. Well, today I'm going to give you the entire playbook of how we have done it multiple times and how you can do it as well. Here's what I'm going to cover here today, and please interrupt me at any point. I'm going to talk about what you're getting yourself into if you try to do something like this. I'm going to show you how you can optimize your content ops software stack to be the most efficient to run your team and your content. I'm going to talk about knowledge transfer. It's a very important aspect of kicking off any project, hiring writers, and then I'm going to talk about 2 very interesting points, and that's how you need to delegate editing as soon as possible and removing SEOs from this entire process. And it is doable. So here's what you're getting yourself into. Switch the comments here. All right. You're going to need to build a team to hit your goals, and people are harder to manage than 301 redirects. I can tell you that you're going to need a minimum of $2,000 per month on content. And I can tell you can expect to spend between 5 and 10% of content costs on that software. And then you need to create quality content. I'll talk about quality. I'll talk about quality when we talk about knowledge transfer a bit more. All right.
Hey, before we dive in,
please.
Yeah, just got a question here. This is being recorded. It'll be on the Copy.ai YouTube channel. And I wanted to point out too, these strategies that you're sharing today, you guys are actually working with Copy.ai, and I know Chris, the co-founder, has been just so pumped about these results that we're seeing from our own blog. So if you guys are writers yourselves, or you're looking to build a team of writers and get your content ranked for your business, I think you can learn a lot either way. That's going to make you way more knowledgeable and prepared to succeed going forward.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andrew. And I want to point people to, if they have Ahrefs, go ahead and put Copy.ai into that screen. You'll see how good of a job these guys have done with their audience on organic. All right. So first off, let's talk about the stack. This is all of the software that you're going to need. And I'm going to add Copy.ai on top of this, and I'll tell you why I think that's a very good idea as well when we talk about enabling your writers. But basically, outside of Workello, which is our there's Nick Jordan, absolutely incredible, of course. Outside Workello, which is our software, which you're gonna need to build out your team. Everything else doesn't really have a steep learning curve. Zapier, Zoom, Geekbox, Slack, and a lot of these tools, you can start using for free, including Workello. All right. So that software stack, I'll be happy to answer more questions. Can talk about this with you guys forever. All right, knowledge transfer. This is a big one. So our team calls this process calls this the result of knowledge transfer enablement documentation. What we do is basically we write down all of the questions you can think of, organized by a certain type or topic, and send to all project stakeholders. We do this even for internal projects because it's a very, very good exercise to understand where the project is going and what needs to happen. Then you need to schedule a huge knowledge transfer meeting and record it and create written documentation that literally covers everything that's discussed there. And the function of this is not only to have everyone on the same page, but it's really important to hold your team accountable to what needs to be done. Now, another aspect of all of this is having this documentation being updated, because new requirements come in as you start controlling these pages. All right. Someone's asking 20K per month. I'm guessing that question relates to content. No, it does not. It's 2K per month. Hope that answers the queue from the audience. All right. That's the name of my documentation. And here's some examples. Nothing complicated. Like, just imagine whatever your project, your industry, your niche is, and then go through the questions that you see on the screen in your mind. You'll see how you get all of the answers that you need in order to empower your content team. So know everything about the industry. Understand where your product or service fits. Why would customers choose you over your competitors? What is your strong stance in the opinion in the industry? And then, what are the purchase cycles the customers go through for this kind of product or service that you have? How they research, et cetera, et cetera. And then you need to also understand what's kind of your tone of voice. How do you want to position yourself in the market? How do you want to talk about certain things? A really good way of finding that out is finding the best communities for a certain industry. You can literally hear a share of the voice of your future audience on organic by looking at on the organic acquisition channel by just listening to the community of your industry. And then, of course, gather all of the authoritative resources where you can learn more. All right.
Real quick, yeah, reacting to 200K a month. So that's the Nick is mentioning. So Copy.ai is very new, like less than 2 years now in business, and didn't really start getting serious about blogging until what it was this past winter, I think, like getting like real content out there. It's been like just half a year maybe of really intense content creation. And so 350 pages of content to do it. So good insights here, just one example, and why we wanted to share this today, because Copy.ai is doing this obviously, and you guys have replicated the same success with multiple different industries and businesses.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to have like Copy.ai have this kind of success with Workello together with a lot of other people. It's just been a pleasure watching people getting so many fat graphs. But let's talk about the most painful part of this entire process, and that's growing your team. I want to cover 4 distinct kind of subtopics here, and I'll be fast and efficient to catch your guys' questions. I want to talk about why content cost is a competitive advantage. Then I'll show you why is it so hard to hire writers. I want to talk about how you can automate the process. And then I want to share what our writing and editing team looks like and what they do, so we have all of the transparency I've shared with our success before. We have gone down the path of everything that we've been talking about. All right. Here we go. This is a very kind of simplified approximation of some of the data that I have researched from Indeed and Glassdoor. And if you look at the yearly compensation for an entry-level writer or writer who has a little experience, in San Francisco, that writer, if we suppose that is producing 200 pages of content per year, that cost per page is going to be $450, while somewhere from where I come from, that's going to be closer to $90, and still being a very good compensation for someone who hasn't worked at this position before. Now, when you look at the content budget for a year, let's say that you have allocated $100,000 to spend on content, and if we look at the cost of the page, that will dictate your content velocity. So remember what I've been talking about. Within a year, you could have published Dogipedia like us and beat us within 12 months. But you could have done that 5 times if you've done it in Europe by the time you would do it once in the US. That's how faster you could have gone. Some final thoughts. We have seen that, a native and English speaker does not equal great writer or even good writer. Our non-native team has been better at creating content than most of the American writers we worked with in the last couple of years. And if your budget is limited, perhaps it is a better way to go forward to pay someone in a lower cost of living a great wage than underpay someone who's living in the US with kind of undefined results for your content. Now, I want to jump, if there's no questions, I'm going to jump into why hiring writers is hard. We've been just seeing this all over the industry. You can see an email that I got a couple of months ago. It seems that every time someone starts a hiring cycle, there's a decent person for every 6 or 7 writers, but then that sometimes doesn't get to pan out into a relationship that you really need for someone to consistently create content for you and be a valuable part of your team. People get into hiring sprees, and that can last for weeks and weeks and weeks, and your content is not getting out the door. But then if you do have a semi-successful hiring cycle, the quality of the portfolio that this writer delivers to you is not something that is not on par with the drafts that they deliver when they become part of your team. And we've worked with over 3,000. Sorry, we interviewed and tested over 3,000 writers in the course of the last couple of years, and we have, on our own, been guilty, guilty. Well, not in I'm trying to do air quotes. Sorry, I just realized I'm not on the on the screen. Anyways, guilty of having fixing.
I'll put you on the screen. There you go.
There you go. Guilty. Please nobody quote me that I said the word guilty. Of having to fix certain articles to a place where they would be ready for being published, and then these same writers will have this part of their portfolio, but that's not really the representation of what they can do. And the list just goes on and on. And what I want to highlight, all of this, the consequences of all of this is wasting your time and wasting your money, but it can get even worse. And that is, when there's more serious consequences. Content is a liability all over the place, and you cannot have something like plagiarism or something even worse affect your brand. So let's summarize. 90% of the candidates will not be qualified to be writers. Poor candidates will almost always submit really good portfolios because there have been people who have edited this content. And when you try to find these people, every step is manual, and it's tedious because you want to, and as you should, be responsible to talking to everyone in your hiring cycle and not leaving anyone without, any type of communication, even if they are being rejected for the job, and you're just getting all over the place. And it takes many discrete steps from that candidate going through a hiring funnel, from hiring to all of the communication that comes in between while testing, interviewing, and so on and so on. So you get to evaluate only a couple of candidates because that you get to just have touch points with them. And then you won't hire the best. You'll just hire those candidates that are good enough. They will underperform. You will spend time on editing and then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So this is what drove us to build Workello. We've realized that we need to kind of automate this process, and that's how Workello was born. We were using it while it was being made. And what you need to do is post a job ad in just a few places, get 200 candidates within 3 days, and then you can invite the best candidates to submit a pre-screen writing test and hire the top 1% from this process. There's a centralized dashboard sorted by status for all of this, and an integrated pre-screen writing test. So we've left the test itself in the app, the ones that we've used for a very long time. And then we've optimized it to keep your best candidates engaged. That means that every time you change a certain status, your candidates will get a polite interview. Whether you're rejecting them or inviting them to a test or to accept your offer, they will get a customized email that you have created with you just changing the status. And then recruiters will notice Workello doesn't have issues with open rates and with people getting the message. We have a huge open and click rate. This is all designed so the candidates don't have to ask so many questions of you and you not being able to answer all of them. This is all set up in 90 seconds. I have no idea who wrote 3 minutes here. That's just insane. Just kidding. I'm going to play you a 10-second video, guys, if you don't mind. YouTube within YouTube.
20 submissions in 2 weeks, and I hired 2 people.
We hired 2 video editors. We had 140 candidates, 15 interviews. We hired 7 new writers.
So as of today, I believe that, As of today, I believe there's 70 users who have hired more than 3 writers through Workello and just starting to get traction. Copy.ai, one of them, already getting that fat graph. Now, as promised, I want to talk about our team. We practice what we preach. This is what our team looks like today, and we have a lot of resources as well within our Content Ops framework that you can check out on the website. We have our team write 1,600 words per workday at approximately 5 cents per word, and they will produce approximately 20 pages per month. That will happen with a full month's work. And that's how I got that number of 200 pages per year per writer, right? But we've seen that people are interested in having their days off and time to unwind, which is very important when it comes to writers. So our team has 38 days of PTO over the course of a year. We usually have 2 writers per editor, and many of them are first-time content writers. But what we've seen is that it turned out that a lot of our team members were, former English teachers, and a lot of them had not only bachelor's but a master's degree in English literature, which brings me to the most important point of all of them, that is more important than any, I think, SEO optimization trick, and that's that our team cares about storytelling. Our team cares about language more than ranking and SEO stuff. Now, that kind of brings me into how to delegate editing, because caring is crucial here. And if you're watching this presentation, you're responsible for generating revenue or doing some other high level task for your organization. You need to delegate the editing and QAing of the process as soon as possible, so you can focus on high value systems. So let's say if you hire a writer, perhaps in those initial weeks, you're going to hire 2, 3, or 5, train them, document everything to see who's your best bet to become that next editor. And when you think about it, you can do the same when you, I know people who are training their writers to use AI tools such as Copy.ai for writer empowerment. You will document that process so that when you're ready to have a team of 5 or 6 people, you can promote that editor who's gone through, oh, I know how to use Copy.ai. I remember the documentation, and train your next set of writers. And that's what I want to talk about next.
That graphic, you got to go back, because that's hilarious. I love how I saw one of your other videos where you're talking about like maintaining accountability within your team. Right? Yeah,
this relates to this is not a stab at writers or editors. This is a stab at our experience when not promoting internally. So in our team, everyone has been a writer first and then promoted to editor and PM, et cetera, et cetera. Why? Because people cannot fake caring for 2 to 3 months. Your best writer simply is going to be your number 1 candidate for editor. In the beginning, you can spread that workload around to create an editor pipeline, work with a couple of writers to see who's your best bet to do that. And we've seen so many people in the Workello community replicating this, because everyone who has been promoted to that next position knows exactly what the people they are managing need to do and how to make their lives easier. So the more writers you work with, the more surface area you'll have to find a great editor. And I want to kind of share also what our editor do really quickly. When you do have that type of a great team, apart from QAing and editing content, all the editors will do 2 or 3 weekly Zoom meetings with the project team and with their peers. They'll do one-on-ones with their managers and their writers. And they'll review writing tests from candidates, and some of our editors also have run interviews for new writers, because it just makes sense to have someone who's going to be running that team, getting a say into who they need to hire. They also work really hard on onboarding new writers, and I'm forever grateful how good of a job these guys are doing when it comes to that. This is something Nick likes to call get yourself a Gordana. She's one of the 10 writers Nick used to work with back when they didn't meet me, at least. And I think it was beginning of 2019. She was the best. She was the best part of that team, and she was promoted to the first editor, became content manager, project manager, and then a director of operations, running 45 people, and brought us all this success. Today, she's the co-founder of Workello. She actually made the rudimentary version of the tool during this process, and I cannot, emphasize that more. The more writers you work with, the more surface area for you to find that special person.
What I'm curious, what you've seen with like a small team. You mentioned like getting a team of 3 people as a starting point. Have you seen getting up to 45 is going to take some time and quite a bit of management. So what do you think could happen if you had just a couple people on your team, or would you say 10? Or just curious what you've seen work.
We've
find that Gordana.
Yeah, we've actually. So I don't know. I think Nick was quite lucky to get Gordana that early. But then here's something also weird. I think Gordana then got lucky to get our next 3 managers that are now running everything. They were also initially writers. Our lead PM, Mina, our executive editor, Sashka, and our senior editor, Tiana, have also all of them have been exceptional writers. And I think that makes it easier for them to run this team. These 3 had been part of our journey since forever. When we would, I think even when we were publishing 800 pages per month, and I'd say that I hope this answers your question, kind of. I'd say that having that right person, grooming your next set of writers is just essential. I think we were very, very lucky.
Cool. A couple questions on that. I think we're going to get into some keyword stuff in a moment.
Yeah, I'll go into that next, and I'll share some useful links with the guys. But yeah, we do have something very interesting for everyone here.
And a good question related to this: what if you're a one-man show?
Okay, cool. I love talking about this. So if you're a one-man show, this is exactly what this is also made for. If you remember that initial slide, maybe I can just go back and hope I won't play that video. So Lior, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. This is everything that you need. When I talked about the software stack, like I said, add Copy.ai to this, and you need a couple of writers, and you can start producing content. As soon as you see someone talented, that person becomes your editor, and then they run 2 to 3 writers, and then you're still kind of a one-man show, right? Everything you see on this screen is everything you will need to kind of follow up on what they're doing. So if I hope that answers your question. Everything's automated in a way that you can oversee everything. And we've been talking to a lot of people who are one-man shows and who also have daily jobs, and building up their content teams on the side. It's more than doable.
Cool. We're about halfway through. So just to set the tone, we've kind of gone through the big idea. At the beginning, you talked about how getting pages out there, content is going to get you results more than you don't spend a lot of time on SEO and backlinks. So maybe just reinforce that point before we move on.
Absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, we've the soon as you get the content out of the door, the faster you start the Google ranking. The faster you start the Google ranking countdown. And if your content sits on your content calendar, then it will never start attracting traffic. It will never start attracting conversions. So instead of focusing budget and efforts into something that's a hit and miss, we've streamlined all of our efforts into producing content. And we've seen that the faster you do it, the faster the results come. As soon as you can ramp up to 40 or 30 or 40 pages per month, you're on a good path to get to really, really excellent results within just half a year, and could be even one of the space leaders within 13 months.
I think on that point, I mean, if that's the goal, 30 to 40 posts a month, can you do that without a team?
Yes, but then the time frame prolongs, which then you can reach 100,000 visitors per month within 2 years, but with a small team you can cut that in half. And it doesn't have to be a team that's your full-time employees or something like that. It's just faster production. I have yet to meet someone who can write 30 pieces of content per month consistently for 12 months. I feel like everyone needs a little break every once in a while.
Great
So
point.
I would say, yeah, Jack, I would say yes, there is, you can reach that level, but it's a question of time. And, what if I come in and publish 500 pages within 6 months and you're still like going hard on hitting that first 100? So I guess that's the risk.
Perfect. All right.
Cool. Andrew, do you mind if I jump into the remove additional SEOs? Because I think
Let's do it. Yeah, I think we got through all the questions. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah, there was a question on how to streamline keyword research, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about here. When I post this on LinkedIn or any other social media, and I say removing SEOs from the process, I feel like people react as if I said remove SEOs from the planet Earth. And I guess they can cut this part of the video, me saying removing SEOs from the planet Earth. Please don't do that, guys. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can achieve these results without hiring additional SEO roles because it's more challenging. And I'm saying that because that's the case in our situation. Aside from myself and Nick, no one in our organization knew anything about SEO, and they have continued to do great work again and again and be more efficient than the two of us who are not part of this process anymore at all. There's actually kind of a 3-part way of approaching this, and I can talk about this forever. I'll give you some useful links to everyone who has joined. But basically, we achieve it by automating keyword research, documenting everything to create briefs, or how we call them, content series templates for writers. And then we have very precise and simple on-page checklist and set of documents that the writers need to follow, but never at the cost of destroying their flow, the flow of the process itself. So they'll have some requirements that they need to fill out, but basically it's on a level of how Nick likes to say it, sprinkling keyword variations within the article, some on-page basics and internal links. When it comes to documentation, this is all about our editors who understand the process of transferring the knowledge of what is expected from a certain content piece. They'll give instructions to the writers regarding the angle, search intent, etc., etc. We have some resources on Workello.com on all of this. And then coming back to the first thing, automating keyword research. We do this with ClusterAi. It's our internal tool that we use to grow all of these projects to the results that you guys have seen. And ClusterAi is there to basically deliver an entire content calendar for you within just a day. We basically have automated keyword research in a way that it doesn't have to be done by an experienced SEO. It's always consistent in terms of a deliverable. Basically, what ClusterAi spits back after you put in some keywords is the list of topics that you need to write about, and that automation is basically key to success. I would be happy to give 20% discount on the first month, a special code for everyone who comments exclusively on this video. Comment Copy.ai is amazing, and I'll know that that's the clue for me to give you a special little gift. So yeah, that's the entire playbook. You guys can check it out. It's finally also written down, and took a lot of time, but it's written also on Workello, and you can check out everything that I've been talking about with kind of additional videos on everything. Apart from that, please follow me on LinkedIn. And here's some QR codes for you guys to scan to check out Workello and ClusterAi, and to join our SEO community. There's 6,000 marketers there, and I think we're gonna have a lovely event soon featuring Copy.ai as well.
Sweet. Let me drop that in there. So you guys built your own keyword tool. It's pretty amazing. And I know you have some other videos on YouTube that kind of break that down and show how that works. So if you guys are looking for help with keyword tools and keyword research, that's going to be a great resource for you. If you comment, Copy.ai is amazing. You're going to reach out and get
coming back to this video for with a special code for everyone. That's for sure.
So we're just, helping each other out here. We think that there's a lot of overlap in the community.
Is amazing. What is the problem? It's just like 30 people saying that. That would be nice.
So I think it's a perfect match, because that's where a lot of people who are using Copy.ai are wondering, okay, how do I get more optimization with my content? How do I find the right keywords to target? And, you can use AI to write this content pretty fast, or at least what we say the first draft. And I think what I'm seeing from you is getting 30, 40 blogs written every month can be a really daunting task, especially if you're doing it on your own. That's pretty intense. So getting a team together can help take a lot of weight off your shoulders, can help you get to that threshold way faster of starting to see the views coming in every month. And now we're talking 6 months, 12 months, or that magical, for whatever reason, 13-month mark that we saw at the beginning. It's a pretty realistic timeline if you follow these steps and give yourself a window of committing to this, getting your content out there. And I think you'll learn as you grow. You guys have a lot of systems in place on how to optimize this and really streamline the process. But it's kind of refreshing to see that you started with a small team of like 10 writers, and then from within that you start to elevate the top performing or top the most talented, or most like the one you mentioned, like caring the most. So the ones who care the most, who are most passionate about it, who do the work right, who are in alignment with your goals and really care about reaching those goals, elevate those people and have them again take more weight off of your shoulders to manage the other writers.
Absolutely. You've completely nailed it. We've additionally been lucky. We would have never been able to develop this tool if we hadn't had our team help us drive the results on that content side. Let me unshare button.
You got a typo in there.
Go away. There you go. Here.
Yeah, and there was a typo in there. It's fine. I think .com would be it.
Yes, that's correct. There's absolutely a typo. Oh my God, my team's gonna laugh. Hey guys, I'm misspelling shit again. Like on Slack.
Man, that happens all the time. Like when you're putting slides together, you're in a different mindset. It's like, let's see. Share the link for SEO. What was that one for?
I am not sure. But
can you let us know? Comments more specifically.
Yeah, please, if you can clarify, I would love to share the link for the SEO.
Let's take a look at some of the comments real quick. Many people want to start without spending any of their own money. Just like me, I started as a freelance writer and gathered some money.
Well, here's the thing. Like, yes, I've if you have a certain plan to monetize the website that you're working on, in order to get those additional people on board, you'll be in good shape to scale super fast. If you gather some money as a freelance writer and do that, okay, writing on my own. With a good plan, even just one person can produce 20 pieces per month. It's probably not going to be sustainable without you kind of teaching someone. Something like Copy.ai can make you much more efficient. But my advice would be, while you're producing this type of content, produce instructions and documentation for someone to take over, so that you can do this consistently month over month.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Learning how to do this yourself. There's a lot to learn. I think I'm seeing from you and Nick and even Gordana, as you've all put in the time so that you can manage a team. You can really scale this up to get the kind of crazy amount of content written that's high quality as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So learning all these things, documenting as you go, finding tools that save you time, ClusterAi. I think you guys can just Google that. It'll show up on Google, but be sure to comment below if you want 20% off of that. And Copy.ai can really streamline the process. And there's other tools that you mentioned today that are, I mean, so helpful. But then learning how to put all that together and then documenting. Do you do a lot of like video documentation? I'm curious. I use some tools for documenting and sharing that with your team.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So one of the things, so I personally like absorbing an SOP that's in written form because it allows me to do it on my own time. Yet writing that SOP is a bit longer, kind of a longer period. So I have this like kind of a productivity hack where I just use Loom to record whatever the process is or the knowledge base. And then I just leave it in a document where it should then become a written piece of content. So yeah, just start with Loom just to show someone their process. I was having an exciting peer call with a very young, talented SEO who's growing his agency. If he's watching this, you'll know, hey man, one of the things I've told him is just to make the first 10 SOPs. You know, if you're using all of your time to write, like, you know, write a little piece of document on how you approach research so that next writer should know. Write a little piece of document on how you're utilizing the most out of a certain writing tool, for example, or an AI tool. And then just go forward from there.
I think what's really cool about you guys is, and why this collaboration made so much sense, is you're doing so much education around this entire process of building your content team, getting content that works and grows your business. And it's a really difficult task. We couldn't possibly dive in and cover everything in 1 hour. So if you're interested in this stuff, you guys have a huge knowledge base, your blogs, your videos, your Facebook group. I highly recommend getting plugged in with everything you guys are doing because it's super top notch. And I really appreciate the effort you've put in to document this stuff and share it publicly.
Thank you so much. It's like, that's, just hearing those things is a reward in itself. And I know Copy.ai recognized that right away. And one of the things that I loved hearing the most from your guys' brand is this is about empowering writers to be better and content, producers to be better. And that makes so much sense. Like, we're not talking about these like stupid technical things about what needs to happen here on this page or not, or what are you going to do, or what's this or that. We're talking about how someone can make the product of their work better. And I really love that.
Yeah, that's the beauty when you are writing this much content. I think you kind of mentioned it, and how you give so much paid time off because it can really burn you out. So for someone who is writing this much content, having an AI assistant to get these ideas out of your head faster, and then you can just do more of the fun. Like, you almost become more of an editor than even a writer. I know you have like a next tier of editor, but writers now are more like working with this AI content, crafting it. And it's almost like a lower tier below a writer. Like, it's almost a teammate for each writer, to where they don't have to just come up with stuff from scratch or copy and paste it from someone else and then try to rewrite it. Like, you can actually create original content really fast and move through this process way faster.
Completely agree. And one of the things that I would like to mention, for example, in that process, it's like, I've been a writer for a very long time. One of the biggest challenges is that famous blank page. I feel like there's no other business that has a scare of a blank page. Like, there's no painter that goes like, oh, right? So I feel like having that type of, help, because your work is so, you are alone with that page in the end. I feel like, getting just like moving forward is so valuable.
Yeah. And it looks like, from what I've seen with your training, you have all these, like, your brief is really important. So the preparation, the research, like, as a manager of a team of writers, and even if you're doing this yourself, just get better at having structure. So you go into this, one problem is the blank page, but now having the research, the planning, the structure of what you need to do and what kind of keywords and all these things prepared will make you more effective. But then getting that first draft written is the next huge challenge. So if you can accelerate that within 10, 15 minutes, have a really good first draft, now you're more optimizing, going through your playbook there and, getting it up to par for your standard, your high quality standard for what each blog needs to be. And then it moves up the chain. So now you can edit that, but you get through that process with way less creative exhaustion. I think that most of what you guys are doing is trying to eliminate all the variables and just be like, here's what needs to happen. Let's get that done and move on.
That's a really good phrase. I'm going to totally going to use it. Yeah. Creative exhaustion. Like, it's so nice when you can get that first outline out of the way. And it really, really means a lot for sure.
Let me pull up a question here. Let's see. Is it better to add these articles in one blog from a website or create a new page per article? Let's see.
Well, yes, there's one page per article. That every article should definitely be a new page on your website. Whether that page is part of your blog section of your website or not is less relevant, I would say.
Let's see. We'll do a last call here for questions. And if you want to pull up that slide again at the end there for anyone kind of just tuning in, if you want to get some more information, maybe you want to fix your email first. We'll stick around for a couple more minutes.
I will. Let me see.
And if you're new to Copy.ai, be sure to check it out. And the tool I recommend is the blog post wizard. Is a really fast way to get the first draft written up. And then if you start to implement some of the strategies that you've learned today, or just dive into more YouTube videos from, what's the best YouTube channel for you guys? I think
it's content distribution. Thank you for asking.
That's the one, right?
There you go. Did I fix the email right? I think this looks good.
Is the M drop down?
Sorry, I had to. It's stronger than me. Where is it? All right, there you go. Come.
What did you put there? Was it? I didn't even see what it said.
I think I just put the rest of. All right. So guys, this is the YouTube.
There it is, yeah.
Content distribution. There's a lot of things there on internal linking. There's a lot of things there on keyword research, and there's a lot of there is going to be a lot of things on optimizing on page. And I think we can squeeze in some tips on how to use Copy.ai's as well.
Yeah, let's see. I know you've done some Q&As with Chris Liu as well in your Facebook group.
Yeah, that's correct. That was one of the most exciting MAs, to be honest. We did a couple of sessions. I think one was with Dali.
Chris is pumped about that. Visual content creation, that's coming soon. It's going to be, this is all, I feel like you got to get plugged in.
Are we doing something exclusive? Are we doing exclusively saying something we shouldn't? That would be interesting.
For the first time. No. I mean, it's been teased. I mean, anyone following AI stuff, OpenAI, that DALL-E's coming out, and it's going to be fun to see when that becomes more accessible. The next few years are going to be really exciting for AI in general, because the technology is advancing so fast. You really got to get plugged in to stay up to date with all this stuff.
I think we had Nick play around with our co-founder Nick playing around with DALL-E. He's like, I'm going to create all of the featured images for the website, and it's just like, it did not fit. It was just like so fun and amazing, but it just did not fit the kind of a corporate AI situation of
and that's, I know, I was just talking to our team yesterday. I'm like, okay, if we can get this to where it's branded content, like it stays consistent with your brand and like really matches the whole feel. That's the challenge, I think.
Yeah, there was fun stuff that you can create if you put it like on Workello or Copy.ai. It's like, oh, look, we have now a 6-year-old doing our brand book identity.
Yeah, not quite there yet, but it's just a matter of time, and even the writing side is getting more creative. So, and maybe the last thought today, I know you guys teach a lot around the experience, right? When just getting content, and this is where we're in the world where there's so much content coming out, people can write content faster and faster, but the experience that the person has when reading your blog, like, really makes a difference. So crafting a great experience, giving them the content they want in a way that's more consumable. I think that's where like visual and video content woven into your blog is going to be more important than ever.
For sure. And like when you look at it, that's like one of the toughest things that you can do, like, because it's multi-dimensional kind of adding value, right? It has to be like, I haven't been writing in a very long time, and then I did it last month, and it's just like the hardest thing was like, oh, how can I provide more value with this, like another dimension here that won't bore a person who read everything, but will also kind of add something. So for sure, it's yeah, we're definitely entering that era of content curators and not just producers. So
Perfect. All right, any last questions? You got some people who might reach out on LinkedIn. Let's see, what is better? We got a couple questions here. And I don't know if you wanted to answer the question about the ClusterAi pricing. Is there any?
Oh yeah,
details
for
behind
sure.
it?
We're super transparent. So yeah, the ClusterAi starts at $39 per month. You can pay that as a one time as well. And then it's kind of structured by the number of keywords that you can import. So the next biggest one is $89. If you go sign up for free, there's no credit card or anything. You can be able to actually test it with 200 keywords and have a look at the other plans completely for free without us taking any info from you.
So
So
let me remind everyone they can get a deal on that too.
yes,
I've yet to see someone do this. What's the deal here? Is Copy.ai not amazing? Come on,
maybe
people.
because I'm a bad marketer and I was like, say Copy.ai is amazing to get ClusterAi. It's like totally not amazing.
Well, if you enjoy Copy.ai, you can pop that down. And then as a bonus, you'll have a chance to save some money on that keyword tool, ClusterAI. At least you can check it out. It's not like you have to buy it or anything to.
Exactly. And like just commenting on the pricing, like for less than $100, you can get a content plan of more than 50 or 100 topics. So it's not about squeezing credits.
Yeah, if you're looking for something like that, YouTube it, look it up. The tool is crazy awesome, and it will save you lots of time and money, and it will help you, write the more precise content that you need to get results with your AI writing tools. Let's see here. We've got a couple questions. We'll get to these rapid fire. How are we doing on time? You got like 2 minutes here, so
Whatever
this is a good
you
question.
say, I'm yours for. All right.
We'll get the most out of you. Rapid fire.
Right. So what is better, a long informational blog post of 3,000 words or 3 articles each with 1,000 words, clustered and interlinked? Excellent question. The answer is on Google search engine result pages. If more than 3 competitors are ranking with the big article, I suggest you do that as well. If they're not, if there's separate pages, then you create separate pages. That's another thing the ClusterAi solves for you. You don't have to ask whether you need to separate them or not. And basically, yeah, it's all about being competitive.
Question here: how much emphasis you put on?
It's my man Masuda. How much emphasis do you put on being better than the top 3 results for creating your copy process? A lot. We'll do a better job of what everyone has done, but in the 2020s, I am going to go ahead and say trying to craft this into my regular marketing response. But basically, it's not enough to be better than the first 3 results in terms of what the content that you can find there. You have to just add something new. So we put a lot of emphasis on that to provide certain value that's broader than what exists. It happens in like 3 types of situation. You either get that information for a subject matter expert, you either transform a certain existing data. The simplest most example would be creating a new graph or a data set from the available information. And then third is you actually give new value with your own product. So for example, if we wanted to rank on, writer productivity, we would write everything that's there on the first page of Google, but then maybe we would present a video and a process of how you can do that with Copy.ai and be much more productive. That's something no one else has. Boom, you're on page 1, having answering all of the intent, but providing this new additional value. It's most exciting if you do it with your own products.
Nice. Yeah. On that note, I know the Copy.ai team has seen really great results doing just a quick 1-minute video like introducing the topic or talking about that topic, putting that on YouTube, and then embedding that into the article, just so it's a little bit more of a personal touch. Like, hey, a lot of people have this question. Here's a few tips. Boom, boom, boom. And now it's actually just helping each other rank. All right, we're gonna end there. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man.
Bojan, this was a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll do it soon. But in the meantime, plenty of stuff available for everyone to check out and dive into from here.
Cool. Awesome. See you guys online.
All right. See ya.